This baronial castle was the favourite getaway of one of Britain's greatest monarchs. It's also home to Europe's last surviving private army. Find out where I am in just a moment. On today's show, we're helping a couple with young twins find a family home in rural Scotland. They begin with their cards close to their chest.
The view's nice.
Sounds like you're being very diplomatic.
But another house unlocks their emotions.
This is gorgeous.
Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Today we're in the historic county of Perthshire, right in the heart of the Scottish Highlands, and this is Blair Castle. As well as being the ancestral home of the Dukes of Atholl, it was here in 1844 that Queen Victoria's love affair with Scotland began, and also where, almost accidentally, she led to the formation of the Atholl Highlanders, which survives to this day as Europe's only private army. I'll be finding out more about that regiment's colourful history and the Queen's visit later in the show, but first take a look at some of the beauties this county has to offer. The historic county of Perthshire is now part of the larger council area of Perth and Kinross and is situated in the very heart of Scotland. Its neighbours include Highland and Aberdeenshire in the north and Stirling and Fife in the south. With scenery ranging from peaceful glens to ancient woodland, Perthshire boasts some of the most beautiful landscapes in Britain. In the west of the county, Loch Tay is flanked on either side by striking mountains, including the snow-capped Ben Lawes. Rising to just over 1,200 metres, it's the county's highest peak. One of Perthshire's prettiest villages is Kenmore, with its attractive whitewashed and stone cottages, reputedly home to the oldest hotel in Scotland. With 2,000 square miles of diverse landscape, Perthshire's unique character holds great appeal for those looking for rural drama in their surroundings. All this natural splendour has a knock-on effect on property prices in Perthshire because the average detached house in the county costs just under £250,000, which is £20,000 more than the national figure for Scotland. Now, this is largely to do with the exclusive homes within range of famous golf courses near Auchterarder or Glen Eagles. But if you go further north into the Highlands or closer to Perth, then you get a lot more for your money. So let's find out who it is that's chosen to come and live in this beautiful part of the country. For the past 4 years, Lawrence and Maria have lived in this 4-bed, semi-detached Victorian property on the outskirts of Glasgow. But the location's convenience also has its drawbacks.
This area that we're living in at the moment is called Dumbreck, which is on the south side of Glasgow, just the south of the River Clyde. The house is located between two busy motorways, the M8 and the M74, so there is a noise issue.
It's not just the traffic encouraging them to move. The arrival of twins, Holly and Adam, a year and a half ago, has spurred them on to seek a better quality of life for the whole family.
There aren't many amenities close by because we live in a very suburban area. There are no local shops. I mean, the nearest things we have here are a park, which I like to take the children to. It's quite a nice wooded area, and that's the sort of environment that I'm looking for the children when we move out of Glasgow.
Maria is a town planner by trade, but has put the job on hold to look after the twins. Lawrence works for a bank in Edinburgh and still intends to commute from their new home.
We're looking to move to Perthshire. It's not far from Glasgow. It's only about sort of 70 miles, but it is the sort of, I call it the gateway to the Highlands. It's a beautiful area, and there are loads of lovely little towns and villages surrounded by beautiful countryside.
Despite the twins being toddlers, Lawrence and Maria are planning for the future.
We think education's important for our children, and schools outside of Glasgow are generally smaller class sizes. I think it'd be nice for the children, if we're in a village, to be able to walk to school.
The move will also allow the couple to indulge their leisure interests, and it's not just tennis.
I play a bit of golf and do a bit of fishing, so the area in Perth and Kinross has lots of golf courses and a few rivers and lochs to go fishing, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, and you want to be able to teach Holly and Adam both to fish and to play golf.
Yeah, not at the same time, obviously.
No.
But not all of Lawrence's hobbies are as peaceful.
Away from work and looking after the children, I play the bagpipes. I've played them for many years, and the neighbours, I'm sure, will testify to the fact that I do tend to play them either in the house or in the garden. So from a neighbour's point of view, I suspect playing them in the countryside will be far more palatable than a built-up area like
A lot of the neighbours do enjoy your bagpipes.
They do,
though.
yeah. They say they do. I'm not sure that they're telling the truth, to be honest.
All that remains is to find out how much they've got to invest in their Scottish rural move.
Budget for the move is £450,000.
So that Lawrence can continue to commute to Edinburgh, we've concentrated our search in the south around Crieff and Perth, both of which have excellent road links to the Scottish capital. And it's in the hills overlooking Crieff where I'm meeting them to finalise the details of the move. Welcome to Perthshire. What is it that you're looking for in this property here around Crieff?
It's a 4-bedroom detached property, ideally with a lovely good-sized garden for the children. Period property would be ideal. That's the sort of property we like.
Yeah.
And what about the neighbourhood? Are you fussed about whether you're out in the sticks or in the middle of a village?
Again, we're quite easy on that. I mean, it would be perfect if we were within walking distance of a town, particularly for schools, to be able to take the children to school.
And are you looking for this house to be sort of a long-term house for the kids to grow up in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. At least to get them through primary school would be good.
Well, you actually have quite sort of reasonable and modest requirements. I mean, this is quite a price-intense area because I think, like you, lots of people like to commute from this beautiful landscape down into Glasgow or Edinburgh. So what's your budget?
Budget's £450,000. If we have to go to 500,000, then for the right house, we'd be prepared to do that. Absolutely.
I've spoken like a canny banker. Yes. So 450 up to 500.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 3 lovely properties, and it'd be interesting to see what you think of them all. So let's go and get in the car.
Excellent.
Come with me. For a maximum budget of £500,000, Lawrence and Maria want a decent-sized, detached family home with character and ideally period features. It has to include 4 bedrooms, a large enough garden for the twins to run around in, and they'd like to be within striking distance of a village so the children can walk to a primary school. We found 3 fantastic properties to tempt them with, and at each one I'll be asking them to guess the price before I reveal it. The last is our mystery house, designed to challenge, and which could be a step too far for a couple with young children. Now, what are you going to be doing in the Highlands, Maria? Are you going to be a golf widow?
I'm going to go walking. I love walking.
Right.
So, yeah, if Lawrence hasn't taken the children out golfing, they'll be with me on a nice long country walk.
Our first property is in the hamlet of Highland Man, 2 miles outside the small market town of Crieff. Crieff itself has a good selection of shops, supermarkets and restaurants. It's been a popular hub for tourists visiting the Highlands since Victorian times, and this heritage is reflected in its architecture. But just a 5-minute drive away, you're well into the countryside, and that's where our first house is. So you can see Crieff over there, just across the fields.
Yes.
Very close, lovely mountain views. But this is the house I want to show you.
It's beautiful. Very nice. Nice traditional property.
Yeah, looks good. Yeah.
But what do you think of the kind of a style? Because I know you wanted a period property.
It looks ideal, looks beautiful. Yeah.
Broadly the same as you have at the moment, actually. So yeah, that's
Same
good.
sort of age, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah.
And the location? Because this is, obviously you're near Crieff, but you're out in the countryside.
Yes, it's nice. You can take the car off the road, so...
OK, shall we have a look inside?
Yes.
Super.
This Edwardian property, built just over 100 years ago, makes a good first impression on Lawrence and Maria. And I'm confident the period features inside will also go down well with our buyers. Coming into the sitting room first.
That's a lovely room. Nice fireplace.
Like the cornicing's very nice.
Yeah, the cornicing's beautiful.
So you see they've knocked through into what was the back room and then built a conservatory at the back. So it's a long sort of a set of rooms which has light. The garden is south-facing, this is north-facing.
Yeah.
So you get light through the day.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, very nice.
Lovely.
It has a kind of classic Scottish feel to it.
It does, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice sort of restrained but tasteful. Up to snuff?
Definitely, yes.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
The ground floor also features a similar-sized dining room with another open fireplace and a bay window looking out towards Crieff. But our next stop is the kitchen.
So around the back of the house, we've got the kitchen. Come on in.
Oh, nice range cooker.
A bit smaller than...
Bit smaller than
probably
we'd have
thought, but...
been used to.
There's a utility through there.
Oh, okay.
So all your white goods are in there.
Yeah, sure.
But you do have this lovely feature of the big red sandstone lintel over
Yes.
over the range cooker. And upstairs you've got 5 bedrooms.
Although the size of the kitchen is a slight concern, I'm hoping the accommodation upstairs will compensate. This includes 4 double bedrooms and 1 single, all serviced by a good-sized family bathroom. One of the doubles lies at the front of the house, with another at the back overlooking the garden. One of the larger bedrooms is being used as a study, and there's a further single which could be turned into an ensuite for the master, which is where we're heading.
As I mentioned, there are 5 bedrooms. This is the master simply by virtue of the fact it's got all this storage in it.
Beautiful fireplace.
Yeah. Yes, the lovely sort of, it's almost Macintosh, isn't it, the design?
I love those tiles. They're lovely. Good
And the view as well. I mean, I
Yes.
think probably this is the master because of the view.
That's beautiful.
Superb.
Yeah, I think the house has a very lovely feel to it. It's a very one of those houses where you come in and you think, oh, it feels very restful. So that's everything indoors. I'll let you wander around a bit later on, but let's look at the garden.
The interior tour seems to have gone down well, and we've given Lawrence and Maria more bedrooms than they asked for. But there's still the all-important garden to see. The south-facing grounds include a patio area, a pond, which might need some fencing off for the children, a garden shed, greenhouse and a veggie patch.
There's a nice spot where you see the back of the house and the sort of formal garden. And then through the arch there, you've got a back garden. They've got flowers there, but you could easily make that the veggie patch.
Yes, it seems to be well laid out.
Yes, yeah. Well,
It's nice to have the different areas of the garden.
So what do you think the house is on the market for?
440 perhaps?
Maybe a little bit less, say 435, 430, 435.
OK, so this is, obviously in Scottish custom, offers over.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
But this is on the market for offers over 375.
375.
Really?
Wow,
Goodness me. That's a surprise.
that's a big surprise.
We're armed with that good news.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd like to go around inside and look at some of the rooms and think what you could do.
We will.
So head back in and I'll see you at the front.
Thanks.
Priced at offers over £375,000, our first house comes in well under budget. It's a traditional detached Edwardian property built of local stone with 5 bedrooms, 4 of which are doubles. Downstairs it has separate living and dining rooms, as well as a sunny conservatory and a large south-facing garden.
You could possibly take those cupboards out if you wanted to open up the room a bit more. Whether you need that all
Keep
that
the storage space, I think,
space.
to be honest. Yeah.
Good for toys.
And your shoes. First impressions walking up to the property were very positive. Lovely looking house from the outside, very homely, very comfortable. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think the only thing I would like to change potentially would be the smallest bedroom that we would look to perhaps make into an ensuite.
This feels like it could be a really nice family home. It's a good size and there's a nice flow through the house, and yeah, the children would love the garden. The view from the property, particularly the upstairs windows looking across towards Crieff, is stunning. Great price, and we were both surprised it was on the market for offers over 375. Gives us a lot of potential to maybe think about a slight remodel to the kitchen or extending the kitchen. There's lots of scope there with that sort of budget.
Lawrence's Scottish reserves make it quite hard to read, but I think they're quite enthusiastic. Done?
Yes.
Have a good nose around?
Yep, very nice.
Good, then let's have a look at house number 2.
Lawrence and Maria have spent many weekends visiting the Perthshire countryside with the twins, and they can't get enough of the scenery that surrounds you here. They may think they've seen it all, but we're sending them to an off-road adventure company run by nature enthusiast Donald Riddle. It's designed to reveal parts of Perthshire that are otherwise inaccessible.
Very shortly, we're going to head up into the mountains. We use private hill tracks that we rent access from, so we take our Land Rovers up there. What we're hoping to see is some of our Highland wildlife, and we're going to see some tremendous scenery as well.
To minimise environmental impact, Donald has an agreement with local agencies that allows him to drive along private forest tracks. His tour covers the area of Perthshire around Aberfeldy, and it's here amongst the Caledonian pine forests that you might see red deer, as well as rarer species including the red squirrel and a type of grouse called the capercaillie.
This particular area is Forestry Commission, and they're doing a lot of conservation with barn owls, tawny owls, putting up nest boxes. There's actually quite a lot of capercaillie research going on as well at the moment. And the capercaillie numbers have dropped so much, but they're researching why this is happening and also trying to sort of do things to encourage them to nest.
But whether the wildlife makes a show or not, the views of the striking scenery are what it's all about.
Here we are at 2,500 feet, and we've got Schiehallion up there, and then further west we've got Glen Lyon, and then right round there we've got Ben Lawes, which is the highest mountain in Perthshire at 4,000 feet.
Stunning, isn't it?
So, stunning scenery, isn't it?
And next, there's an opportunity for Maria to take the wheel and learn the techniques of off-road driving.
First gear, and then just, you can sort of accelerate on into it a bit, and then remember just to take your foot off the gas when we get on it, because we will be going at 40 degrees, and we've only got 5 degrees of leeway, all right, before we tip over. So take your foot off the gas now.
Yeah.
Foot off the gas,
Off the gas.
Okay.
Am I high enough up?
You're doing just fine. Look at that. Oh my goodness, feel that?
Oh my goodness. Am I high enough? Yeah.
I think you're okay. There we go. Good job. And then if we'll just carry on down a wee bit onto the level bit of road here. Great stuff. Magic.
With off-roading skills to add to their list of outdoor interests, it's time to make tracks and return to the house hunt. We're venturing to the far eastern side of the county for our second property, which is in the hamlet of Murray's Hall, about 2 miles from the village of Scone. And Scone is where we're making a pit stop. Not only the setting for one of Scotland's most impressive historic palaces, it also features a piece of history that should stir the emotions in any Scot, although this one's a replica.
Me, as an Englishman, telling you this is the Stone of Scone.
Yeah.
Stone of Destiny. So the Stone of Destiny is, as I'm sure you know, was where all the Scottish kings were crowned. Well, the lovely palace at Scone, this is your sort of, would be your nearest stately home.
Yeah.
Do you think the twins would enjoy kind of historical houses?
They would. We love going around historical houses, and the grounds here are beautiful, so lots of space.
There's old Scone, the palace, and then new Scone, which is a sort of little town just on the other side of Perth, which is just down the road. As is our second property. Shall we go and see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Follow me.
As we continue our journey, we pass through the town of New Scone, which offers a number of amenities close by, including shops and a post office. A short drive away is the hamlet of Murray's Hall, and our second property.
House number 2 is a very different offering because it's this long, low-slung building.
Okay.
We thought this might be one for you, Lawrence, because it is jammed between not one but 2 golf courses. One up here and another one just down there. More importantly, perhaps, is we've shaved 20 minutes off your commute because it's a few minutes drive onto the motorway and then straight down into it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's interesting. It looks interesting. Is it a bungalow or does it double height?
It is all on
below?
one level.
It's all one level. All right.
Eager to get inside. Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Enthusiasm, let's go in.
This modern single-level stone property looks much older than its 8 years. And having the accommodation all on one level could be handy with the twins in mind.
I'm going to take you straight into the kitchen, get a flavour of the house.
It's a lovely kitchen. Very nice.
Bit bigger.
Bit bigger, yes.
Space for a nice big table, sort of 8-seater here.
Yeah.
And you've got the island in the middle
Yeah, always useful.
and all the mod cons. So it's a very modern building.
Yes. No, it's a nice sized kitchen.
Yeah.
So behind you is another selling point of the house, particularly for you, maybe, Lawrence. I don't know who's the tech head in your family, but the whole house is wired for sound. Every single room.
Yeah.
So you can have music wherever you go.
Okay.
If you push through, we're going to the sitting room.
It's hard to get a sense of how Lawrence and Maria really feel about this house. A look in the heart of the home might provoke a reaction.
So this is the sitting room, the main sort of reception room in the house, with these incredible windows that look out over the golf course.
Fantastic.
Great view.
Yeah, yeah.
And a nice big square room.
Yeah, very high ceilings.
Gosh, yes.
Yes.
And a proper stone surround with a gas effect fire.
And the view's nice.
Sounds like you're being very diplomatic. You don't have to buy every house I show you. It's, you know, you do have some free will. There's not your floating your boat?
It's probably not what I would choose myself.
As we head back past the kitchen, we pass a generously sized dining room, which could also be used as a bedroom. Further down the corridor are 2 more double bedrooms, one of which is being used as a guest room, and the other as a study, which offers another large window. Completing the accommodation on this, the only level, is a utility room with sink area, a stylish family bathroom, and there's underfloor heating throughout. But let's not forget where Lawrence and Maria might sleep.
As I say, this is the master bedroom. It's got its own ensuite with a shower and toilet.
That's a nice room.
Yeah, nice size. Yeah.
Lots of storage space. Yeah.
OK, well, there's another option.
Yes.
A different offering.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's outside.
Lawrence and Maria are still being very tactful, but I'm not sure this house is really grabbing them. We have one last chance to find out what they really think with the outside space, and this includes a terraced patio overlooking the back of the property, and round the side of the house a west-facing garden, which is mainly lawn, with another patio area for entertaining.
What do you think?
Smaller garden than I would like, but it's nice to have a seating area.
Yes, my initial concern would really be about the amount of hard landscape round the patio for the twins. Yeah.
What about pricing?
Maria, I think you have to go first this time.
I would say 410.
Okay. I think maybe a wee bit more. I think 430 perhaps.
Well, actually, this is on the market for offers over 450.
Gosh, right, okay.
Wow.
Way off the mark.
Okay.
Yes, I think maybe the golf bonus.
Golf courses,
yes. Yeah.
And also the closer, you know, that's that bit closer to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We sort of rushed around inside, so have a look at those other bedrooms and see if you can maybe think about reconfiguring those.
Yeah.
And then I'll see you at the front.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
On the market for offers in excess of £450,000, this high-tech modern home is £50,000 under Lawrence and Maria's maximum budget. All the accommodation sits on one level, and with a little reordering inside, it could be turned into a 4-bedroom property with a kitchen diner and a large reception room. It also comes with a lawn and patio with stunning views over the Perthshire countryside.
An interesting house, I guess. Obviously, all in one level. Not someone we'd really given much consideration to. Coming into the house, public areas are quite a good size. Perhaps with the exception of the main bedroom, the others are a wee bit on the small side, but not a huge problem per se. One concern I have is the number of steps outside in the hard landscape, in the patio area in particular. It's something that we have in an existing house, and quite keen to sort of get away from that and get into a more child-friendly garden where there's perhaps less opportunity for the children to fall and hurt themselves.
An interesting property. It's not something I would look at firsthand, and I wouldn't typically go for a modern property. So it was interesting to come inside and have a look around. It's probably not the ideal house I would go for if I was looking to push our budget to its upper limit.
Hello.
Hi.
Just enjoying the sun. It's a lovely little sun trap here.
Yeah.
Are you all done inside?
We are, I think,
Yes.
yes, yeah.
Well, that's our lot for the day. Time to maybe just have a little rest. See the twins.
Okay,
Come with
good.
me.
It's day 2 of our property search, and with a maximum budget of £500,000, we're helping Lawrence, Maria and their twins escape the bustle of Glasgow for the peace of rural Perthshire. Coming up, we step back in time with our mystery house.
I grew up in a small village like this, so it's almost like coming home, I guess, for me.
That's what we like to hear.
And I follow in the tracks of one of Britain's greatest monarchs.
Today's mystery house is a corker. It's a beautiful property and much closer to Edinburgh and within budget. But this morning I woke up a little bit anxious because Maria and Lawrence's reaction to the second house yesterday made me worry that the mystery house might be not quite toddler-friendly enough. But I also have a theory that when someone doesn't like a property, they'll grasp at lots of reasons to justify that dislike. And then when they see another house with the same things that they love, all those reasons drop away. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. How are you feeling this morning?
Quite excited, yes, about
Yeah.
today and seeing the mystery house.
What do you think the mystery house might be?
Very good question. I wonder if it might be something like a barn conversion, perhaps, or
Property that you do up, maybe?
possibly
Something that's
some
got
sort
a
of
lot of
almost like a
something.
fixer-upper.
Yeah.
And what are you afraid it might be?
A newly built modern house.
For the mystery house, we're travelling 20 miles south of Perth to the hamlet of Cleash. On the plus side, it will cut Lawrence's commute time even more, but we're venturing further from where they originally wanted to be. A past winner of Best Kept Hamlet, Cleash has a vibrant community feel, with local amenities more typical of a village, including a primary school and a 19th century church, the tower of which was built to celebrate Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee in 1897. Surrounded by agricultural land but a stone's throw from transport connections to Edinburgh, it's a good location for a countryside commuter. As well as the location, the other mystery element to our third property is that it's semi-detached, which isn't what Lawrence and Maria wanted. And what's more, there are some potential hazards to contend with.
So the mystery house.
Wow.
Wasn't what you were expecting?
No, not at all.
Oh, gosh.
Not at all.
So it's a bundle of contradictions, this house, because it's not what you asked for, but that's always the case with the mystery house.
Yeah.
It is, as you can see, half a house.
Yeah.
And it is period in the sense that it's originally an 1840s mill, but it has been completely remodelled quite recently.
I like the look of it. I like it a lot. It looks nice, it's interesting.
One of our concerns about showing you this, particularly after yesterday, was for the next sort of 6 months with the twins, it's going to be a bit step-tastic.
Yes.
True, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of steps to get to the front door.
Yeah. And the house itself is on 3 levels. Can't really see it, but so there's obviously stairs inside.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is a little sort of new sort of area with some properties which probably have young families in as well. So it'd be quite nice to have a little community
Yes.
Yeah.
to be part of that.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in a small village like this, so it's almost like coming home, I guess, for me.
That's what we like to hear. Yeah. Should we have a look inside?
Yes,
Yes,
I'd like
please.
to.
Our mystery house is one half of a former mill. The fact that it's semi-detached hasn't put Maria and Lawrence off so far. I hope the unconventional layout inside, spread over 3 floors, won't either. We're entering the property on the middle floor, which is where you'll find the main reception room.
Let's come into the kitchen first, because this is a
Oh, look at
work
this.
of art.
Goodness me.
This is gorgeous.
Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I like the maple or whatever that.
This is
that
actually
wood.
elm.
Elm, right.
Yes, it's a local woodworker who made this bespoke for the kitchen. There's also a kind of fireplace made in as well. Obviously very rare to get that bit of elm.
Yes. Yes.
Gosh.
And there's lots of, I mean, all of these cabinets are bespoke to an incredibly high quality. And this beautiful sort of moulded sort of work surface. So there's no edges.
Yeah.
I suppose the question is, can you imagine you yourselves and the twins living here?
I could, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's a lovely feel to the room. It's a lovely family kitchen.
So thumbs up for this room?
Absolutely.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
Fantastic.
It's a slightly unusual, because it's on 3 levels, the house is sort of unusually sort of structured, because opposite we've got a big bedroom and ensuite, which could be your master.
Okay.
They use this as their guest bedroom, but
Okay.
it's very grand.
Lovely room.
Yeah.
And then the spectacular, you see the ensuite.
Goodness me.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Then it goes upstairs and downstairs.
We're heading upstairs to the top floor, but downstairs there are 2 further bedrooms, both en suite, which the present owners are using as separate offices. The ground floor also features a large utility room with lots of extra space for storage. The 4th bedroom, also en suite, is currently being used as the master and is on the top floor. And just across the corridor from that, our next stop.
So up the top of the stairs you have this beautiful room, which they've turned into a sitting room.
That's great. Lovely views.
Gosh, look at the view. Yeah. Very nice. It's got a really lovely feel to it.
It has.
Well, I'll let you explore downstairs in your own time, because there's things to think about, I think, in how you
Yes.
would configure it. Let's go outside and talk about price.
Okay.
Our mystery house, combining the fabric of the original mill with modern design, has clearly lifted the spirits. But there's still the garden to see, and it's back to where we started, outside.
So back to the garden. You can see it's on, well, many levels. There's a sort of raised bit here where they've got their veggie beds and their greenhouse.
Yes.
And then this bit, which I guess is more of a sort of eating area. Down the steps there's a sort of sunken garden, which actually has the doors to the bottom floor, which you haven't visited yet.
Right.
And that's a real sun trap, because it's completely sheltered from the wind. Apparently it gets sort of Mediterranean heat during the summer.
Fantastic.
You get a good tan. What do you think it's on the market for?
I think it's right at the top end of our budget. I'd say something like 485.
I think it's above our 450. I think probably near 490.
Well, this property is on the market for offers over 395.
Wow. We're slightly out, Lawrence. That's amazing. 395.
Goodness me.
Well, we're way out, but wow.
Why don't you look downstairs, because that is a slightly quirky layout. Have a look downstairs and see if that will work with the kids.
Yes.
And I'll see you back here.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent.
It's always a good barometer of how much people like a property by how much they overguess the price. So I'm thinking they quite like it.
Way under budget at £395,000, our mystery house is a renovated 19th century mill. The accommodation is arranged over 3 stories and includes 4 bedrooms, all with ensuite bathrooms, a designer kitchen diner, and a top-floor living room with extensive views across the countryside. The property is located in a popular village with a good primary school.
It's a nice sized room.
This is a lovely room as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, this would be ideal for one of the kids, wouldn't it?
It would. When I first saw the mystery house, I thought it looked amazing. Just all the different levels of the garden, and then looking up towards the front door. It looks stunning. It is a beautiful property. It's just lovely. I love this room in particular. I think it's a real family room. I could imagine myself cooking here quite easily.
Internally, I think the property is stunning. Particularly like the exposed beams and the exposed stonework in the kitchen. I can't say there was anything I would particularly want to change about the property at all. A few tweaks around the edges perhaps in terms of safety for the children, the stairs in particular, but other than that I wouldn't change anything, I don't think.
OK, so mystery house done, houses 1 and 2 done. That's all the property. Let's go and catch our breath.
Okay.
And that marks the end of our property search for Lawrence and Maria. But if you too have got your heart set on a rural Perthshire bolt hole, there is plenty of property to choose from with a wide price range. If contemporary living is your style, this 4-bedroom modern property in the village of Mouth Hill is on the market for offers in excess of £540,000. The accommodation inside includes a large open-plan kitchen diner, which leads onto an additional living area with a log burner. The bedrooms upstairs include this spacious master suite. And at the other end of the price and age scale, a 3-bed traditional stone cottage in St Fillan's has been reduced to encourage a quick sale. At offers in excess of £200,000, it offers good value. With all this breathtaking scenery, it's no surprise that the Perthshire Highlands have long been a favoured holiday destination for those who love the outdoors. One of its biggest fans was Queen Victoria, who came here to Blair Castle, the seat of the Duke and Duchess of Atholl, in 1844. During her visit, she was protected by the Duke's personal bodyguard, the Atholl Highlanders, and was so impressed she gave them the right to bear arms. I've come to meet the castle's chief historian, Jane Anderson, to find out more about the Queen's visit and the castle's unique private army.
Ah, this is a very Victorian room.
Yes.
Is this where she slept?
The actual room isn't. She slept in the Derby room along the passage, but everything that was in that room is now in here. So when they knew Victoria was coming, they went out and bought a whole new suite of furniture.
As you do when the Queen comes.
As you would.
And what was different about this stay? Because obviously she often went to stay in castles, one imagines.
Yes, but usually she would descend on people for a day or two and expect a sort of full state reception. But Albert asked particularly here that they put the castle at her disposal, and the family moved out, she moved in, and so she had a very long stay, which was very relaxing without all the trappings of state.
A holiday, in a way.
Yes, the informality, the lack of intrusion, and that was preserved by the men of Atholl guarding her. They camped outside in tents, and they were there to make sure that no one disturbed this idyll.
The Highlanders still have a presence at the castle more than 150 years after the Queen's visit. I'm meeting one of them, George Farron.
George, you look resplendent. How long does it take you to get into all of this?
About 25 minutes to get the main part on, but you always need a hand to put your plaid on. This plaid has to be wrapped around you and pinned on.
So what's your job description? What do you actually do?
I'm the caretaker in the castle.
Ah, so are most of the regiment also kind of people who work on the estate?
A large majority of them work on the estate or have worked on the estate, and anybody further afield will still come back for any events we have on.
And Jane, was that always the case? Was it always like the...
Yes, it was. It was always the Duke's men, either tenants on the estate or employees on the estate, and they were invited personally by the Duke to join.
One of the things the Queen was able to enjoy during her stay at Blair Castle was to explore the surrounding countryside on a pony. And that's what I'm doing, with guide Debbie McLaughlin.
So this has been where the Queen would have ridden, Debbie?
Yes, Queen Victoria rode here. She first rode on Atholl Estates in 1844, and then she went up through the hills while Albert was out stalking on the estate.
Ah, so she was a pony rider?
Yeah, she rode the Highland Ponies on the estate. She was very keen.
The Queen was so struck by her visit, a few years later, she and Prince Albert bought the neighbouring estate, Balmoral, still used by the royal family today as a holiday home. And being neighbours meant Victoria could still drop in for a visit.
And Jane was saying that she would ride over the hills to visit the Duchess.
She rode over the hills. It's doable. It would take them a few days, and they would stop for picnics. And in Glen Tilt, there's a well that's known for Queen Victoria's Well, where she stopped for a refreshment of fresh hill water.
When they weren't carrying royalty, the Atholl ponies were used during the stalking season to transport deer off the mountains, a role they still perform today. But as I head off to catch up with our buyers, it's easy to see how Queen Victoria fell in love with this remote Scottish beauty spot.
Time to find out what Lawrence and Maria think about all three properties we've shown them. My hunch is that the second property by the golf course is a little too modern contemporary for Maria's taste, and she might win the day. However, the first house, the classic Scottish beauty, and the third house, the mystery house, really are both contenders. Let's find out which one might win. I've brought you down to the shores of Loch Leven, just to have a little think about what next, what your plans are, having seen the three properties. Which ones are contenders?
Property 1 yesterday, the detached property, was a beautiful property. I think we both like that.
Yeah.
And today's mystery house was a real surprise, a bit of an eye-opener.
Yes, they are quite contrasting properties. What is it that about the first house and the mystery house that you like?
The first house for me was probably the setting. It was a beautiful house, and the views from the house looking over towards Crieff was stunning. It had a lovely garden, well laid out garden.
And Lawrence, what about the mystery house?
The mystery house, I thought, had a nice feel to it, on 3 levels, which, as we say, we hadn't really considered before. But it really blew us away, it blew me away, if I'm honest. So.
I don't know, I'm torn between the two of them.
Oh, it's good. It's good that you're torn.
Yeah, I know. So I'd like to go back and see property number 1 again. Maybe.
I would like to go back and see the mystery house again, though, to be honest.
Yeah, both of them, I think.
I like them both for different reasons.
And in terms of, because, you know, that you were aware, of course, that quite a lot of people would be interested in the mystery house.
Yeah.
I mean, how fast do you think you'd like to act?
Probably within about a week.
Good, well, I wish you all the best, and I hope that you do find a house for you and the twins. And it is such a lovely area. I think you'll be happy in either of those 2 houses, but
I think so.
all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
Not at
Really
all.
enjoyed it.
It seems like my worries about the mystery house were completely unfounded. It really struck a chord with Maria and Lawrence. Though I do wonder whether, compared to the classic Scottish grandeur of the first house, the quirky individualism of the mystery house might be a step too far. See what I did there? But I hope they move soon, because I think there's lots of people interested in the mystery house. So the sooner they get to this beautiful part of the world, the better. I hope you've enjoyed our trip through Scotland. Do join us next time for more Escape to the Country.
Shortly after returning home, Maria was offered a new job in Glasgow, and for now they've decided to postpone their move to Perthshire. Let's hope they don't leave it too long. If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.